guys.
Moving along. You can't even hear it.
No, that's the secret. It's the secret. It's all you gotta
All timing.
Magic of Hollywood. All right, hey guys, welcome to In the Zone. It's me, TK, again, and wow, do I have a great podcast for us tonight here. I have what could potentially be one of the most awesome Brayman Cup finals ever. I've got the two leaders, the kings of the pack right now with me. I've got my buddy co-host Ryan. Ryan, how are you doing tonight?
excellent. I went back to work today for the first time in a couple months since November. A little tired, but that's all right.
All right. And also joining us is Harrison Lakers' very own Renee. Renee, it's good to have you. It's been a while since we've had you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Nice to see you.
You bet. So anyway, I got a little bit of questions for you. Oh, well, I'll get into that later. First of all, we're going to talk about what we're up against here. You all saw the problems that we had over Christmas time that finally got resolved last night. As you can see, our site is back to normal in that. However, that took 21 days to accomplish, folks. And our league wouldn't have been working for the last 3 weeks if we left it up to CBS and got it done. The customer service was basically pretty brutal, but I'm glad to have it back. But because of this, and I don't know if all you guys know this or not, but Renee has a league of his own. It's been going since '88, Renee? It's been a keeper since '99, but you started your pools in
87, 88 was the first
87, 88. So Renee has the same kind of pool as us. I actually stole the format from Renee. However, Renee has expanded his into a different level with different things on it. But needless to say, both of us are commissioners of our leagues. Renee's commissioner of the West Coast Hockey Pool, and I'm commissioner of the No Control Zone. And we have both through talking to each other, found out that we both had some serious problems with the CBS website. And I know for you guys, basically as just owners and players, that you don't really see the problems that me and Renee sometimes have to go through with these guys in CBS. And every time that we contact them, it takes a minimum 3 days just for the initial first contact. And it's made us wonder. So Renee's done a little bit of research and he's found another website that does our hockey pools. It's called Fantrax. And right now Renee has organized a mini half league for us to test out this site for you guys. So myself, Renee, and Ryan, and co-commissioner from the WCHP, Dale West, for $30 out of our own pocket for this test. We're going to give it a trial run for the league and see how that goes. And then we're going to give you our input at the end of the year. And I'm going to pass this off to Renee, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about the Fantrax site.
Yeah, so anyway, it sort of happened last year when COVID was going on and we didn't know if there was going to be a season. And so I've been not really excited about CBS from the beginning. There's some features that I really like about it, like the reporting aspect as well, and the mobile app. But like Terry was saying, the support really sucks. And we run into a few problems from time to time, and it's just not really up to snuff. So anyway, I did a little research regarding what's out there. There's a lot of different sites, Yahoo, ESPN, a bunch of others. But for our particular format, there's not too many that can actually, with this head-to-head category format, host it. So the Fantrax site came up. They have not just hockey, but a whole bunch of other sports as well. And sort of logged in and played around with it a little bit, and looks pretty promising. So I've seen quite a lot of feedback too on the internet, just from guys in various forums and things like that, and it's mostly been very positive. So anyway, like Terry said, we'll give it a shot and kind of work out the kinks and make sure that if we do decide to make a change, that we are familiar with it, and then we'd be up and running, then ready to go for next year if we decide to do that. So it's should be fun. So
And the one thing I liked, Renee, I didn't know until Terry told me, is that if there's a guy who's on IMDb, all you got to do is talk to them, and they will put him in on the site, so that Terry doesn't have to make a whatever, a fake guy with no stats. If you talk to the site, then they put that player, so he's like, so you can see him and you can like project to draft him next year or whatnot. Is that true? That's correct?
Yeah, so they have their database is much it's a lot bigger, let's put it that way. And if there's some player, for example, some guy that plays, I don't know, midget hockey somewhere in Ontario or whatever, if he's on like one of these websites like Elite Prospects or Hockey DB or something like that, if he actually has a profile or something like that, and he's not in the Fantrax database, there's a link where you can go and send them the link to the guy, and then they'll add him to the actual database. And so this includes a whole bunch of guys in Europe, for example, that we don't really care
KHL
about, and all that
probably
kind of
too,
stuff,
right?
right? So Fantrax also, part of their setup is that you can actually have minor league players, so the guys in the AHL, all this kind of stuff. So all those minor league guys, AHL, EHL, all that kind of stuff. If you really wanted to make like an AHL league or something like that, you probably could, because those guys are in the database. So, but yeah, like we've had that kind of problem where Terry makes the phony guy, and then you have to put him back in and all that kind of stuff. And
I
especially
think
in the drafts, it's kind of
the
a hassle
draft,
too, right?
For the
that's
draft,
the biggest thing
huge.
is people forget them all the time,
And then they draft them.
and then other people draft them, and then it sends the draft into chaos. So it's huge for us. That was a big, when I saw that feature, I was like, oh, I like that a lot. Now I will say one thing. I was myself talking to Keith Salter of the Mustangs last night, who was here. As far as I know, he is the only one who has actually done this kind of league in Fantrax before. So I got a bit of input from him. His input was that he thought, as a owner and a player in the league, that there was better information in CBS. But if we can be just as close and have way less hassles, for me, it would be a bonus.
Now, by information, what do you mean? Like those little like player news and like
there's
nothing like that on the Fantrax?
Well, he just said there's more. Like, you can go in and make your scout draft teams and stuff like that. So
there's no scout?
I don't know. There might be, but this is what he was telling me. There's just
I
more.
think I looked. Yeah, I looked and I saw something like that for like.
I'm sure it is, but what he was saying was the overall, there was more information,
just more info
from the CBS site, but he also gave high reviews of Fantrax. So
I like what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys use those CBS reports. You can make custom reports.
I do
that kind of thing. You can really drill down into various different categories and all kinds of crazy stuff.
And that's what he's talking about. That's what he's talking about.
Excel, right? So I don't know if Fantrax has that specifically, but it does have the player news and injuries and all that kind of stuff. But,
and that's
anyway, we'll give it a shot. We'll try it out and we'll see if it works for us.
Yep.
Do you control your Twitter account on that West Coast Hockey League, Renee?
Yeah.
Do I? Yeah, I'm in charge of that, I guess.
So we'll just get me or Terry or Al to control the one in this new Fantrax, and then we'll put all the player reports. No, we're not doing that.
Well, I am gonna do some videos for this Fantrax league.
Yeah.
So I'll let the WCHB guys. They've never seen it, so.
Yeah. I like the Twitter.
We have some trades. We'll probably have some kind of in the zone weekly for it or something on a Tuesday or something, but just gives me more reason to podcast, which I just love doing anyway. So
3 podcasts.
Hey,
where do you find that time?
Well, you got to get your face out there, right? And that means I've gotten it out to 31 people, but not really 31 people because a bunch of you are in the same league. So my face has gotten out to about 28 people from 2 of the podcasts.
But we'll play it. We'll see it out for the rest of the year, and we'll let everybody know.
When are you going to start making money on the YouTube channel, Terry? How many subscribers do you need?
I think it's 1,000 or something like that. I had a guy get a hold of me. He goes, man, I can't understand why people aren't picking up on this podcast. And he goes, I love your podcast, man. It's great. It's very informative in that. But I've also, I've researched into other YouTubers and that who are just, they call it, I was podcasting into the void for 2 years. And then all of a sudden something happened. like
Right.
just either the right person liked them and they knew a shitload of people, and then other people started coming watching that. So you never know. I'll just keep podcasting into the void. If all I got is 28 people who are watching me, I can live with that.
You need that chick. What's her name again? Chloe or whatever, the one Islander fan.
Oh yeah, Chloe Moritz.
You
Yeah.
get her as one of your subscribers or followers, then
That's
you'll see
right.
some action.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
I think I saw a movie with her last night. It
Uh,
was
Kick Ass was her
was
best,
interesting.
man. Kick Ass was her best by a mile.
yeah.
She
Yeah.
was fantastic. All right, guys. So I think we've talked about Fantrax. So we're going to be getting into the regular In the Zone podcast now. So why don't we delve into the Bossy division first, since Renee is here? We don't often see Renee on the podcast, so we're going to start with the Bossy division. So before we get into our normal In the Zone, I do have a question for Renee that I have to ask him. So I'm going to kind of, the question is going to be followed by a bit of a statement here first, Renee. So basically, we all have to be honest here. This entire league has been so far behind the Harrison Lakers from the get-go of this season. I just wanted to know, are you impressed by some of the relentlessness of the owners who are trying to close the gap, watching all these trades go down?
Well, I mean, there's a certain GM that makes trades like every week. So whether he's ahead or behind or whatever. So, but excluding that one individual specifically, yeah, I mean, it's nice to see that there's an active league, and there's certain teams here that are trying to make a push. So
yeah, there's
I
no
think Terry, to be honest, a few stats here and things. And the one thing I will say is that some of these podcasts and things, I know there's a lot of emphasis on losing, on tanking,
Yep.
on losing the right way, on having the wrong players or the right players in your lineup in order to be able to lose.
Yep.
And in one sense, I completely understand it, in the sense that, you know, there's a lot of good players in the draft and all that kind of stuff, right? So, but my philosophy is always to try to make the playoffs.
Oh, I know that. You've never missed, have you? Once.
yet.
No, not yet.
No, not yet.
But-
You haven't missed. Yeah.
But that's the goal. I mean, that's basically all that I want to do, is to try to make the playoffs however I can.
Well, if you
And-
could just tell the rest of us how to do that.
Well-
Don't have to tell Ryan. Ryan's only missed once.
And I
so
missed it.
Ryan,
That's the
for
only time.
example, Ryan could have
That's the
made
only
the play. Ryan could have
Yeah,
made
I
the
could've.
playoffs last year,
Yep. Oh, for sure.
and he elected not to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Oh yeah. So I forgot it's twice, Ryan. You haven't made the playoffs. I forgot about last
yeah.
year.
Driscoll beat me out that one year.
Yeah. No, that was
But
me in the tiebreaker, I think.
The reason why I bring up the playoffs thing is just that, you know, going through the league here and stuff, seeing who's actually won the playoffs. First year it was third ranked. Second year it was second, third, fourth. There was a tie. Third year was the number 8 seed won the actual.
That was you.
trophy. Yeah,
Is that the year you started 0-8?
I
believe
think
it
so. Yeah,
was.
that's right. I hung in there. That's
You
exactly right.
started
Terry. I could have.
0-8.
Next year it was the 4th seed. Next year it was the 3rd seed, and the final year, Dean here, it's 6th seed. So actually, the CDS winner has never actually won the playoffs in our pool.
Oh,
Nope.
I didn't.
Not once.
Yeah, we kind of looked that up a little while back, didn't we, Ryan? I thought
I think
we
so.
did.
Yep.
Yeah, but every time I hear that, it just kind of blows my mind, because really nobody should have been able to stop Dan last year.
Exactly.
He
I
had
think it
some
was,
holes.
so Dan's record last year was 18-2-2. Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, he had an amazing team.
And he was
Absolutely
beating everybody
amazing
by
team.
15 points, 15, 20 points. He was beating them
Yeah.
in a game.
Right. So this is why you're asking me the question. It looks like there's, 6 pretty strong teams that are going to take the top 6 positions, right?
Yeah, I
So
think so.
there's about 4 teams vying for 2 playoff spots. And we've definitely seen some action in regards to trades for those guys actually
Yes.
trying to improve their team in order to get in the playoffs. I'm thinking specifically regarding Pitter Patter and Wolfpack,
Yeah.
right? So recently.
Garrow has
And,
a bunch of hooks out there still. He's still trying. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
I heard
trying.
from him. Yep. So he hasn't.
So all
given
those
up.
guys are within, what's it here, 5 points,
Yep.
right? Four
1 week.
teams within 5 points halfway
1
through the
week.
season. So there's no reason why not one of them can make it at this point. If they make a few trades or make a few adjustments, like it's definitely within their reach. And yeah, I mean, once you're in the playoffs, I mean, that's basically it. So that's so to answer your question, Terry, yeah, I mean, it's nice to see that some of these guys here trying to make it into the playoffs and all that, knowing that there's, some good teams this year, right? So, but once you're in the dance, right? I mean, you got a shot, man.
We're like pit bulls. We're like pit bulls.
Yeah, that sucks for Wes. Tried it, but now he's first gone, second gone, David gone for not much. Like you got Kachuk, you got Hall's gone. He's got it's if he's in a bad situation now for the next couple of years, and then you got guys like Al who I don't know, is he 2-year rebuild, and like MLJ, he's really hurt his team now for at least a couple of years now.
Yeah, well, he knew that. He told me that. He knew he was going into a 2-year rebuild.
And you did a 2-year rebuild too, right, Terry?
I did.
Was that like because I always want to go for it too. Like that one year I missed out.
I think last year, the year before last year when we were in the bottom 4, right? I think I could have made the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think I could have.
Yeah. I could have too, but it was a short season. I'm like, I never tanked. I'll never tank again. Probably.
That was actually, now that you said the magic words, I can't believe I forgot that. That was why I went to a second year in a rebuild. I knew it was going to be a short, painless year.
Painless, as much as you can to lose.
Well, who wants to hang around while you're, going through a 20-week regular season and your team's getting creamed every night, right?
But last season was terrible.
Short and painless.
Yeah, it was. I'm not looking at the weeks. I'm like, whatever, it's like it's not fun to tank.
And it was actually, it was pretty exciting for me to tank last year. I was on that that bubble of going into the other level, and I did everything in my power to stay.
Yeah, that's true.
I fought all year to stay down there.
Yeah, that's true. You had a battle. That's true.
I did. So I thought it was good. Anyway, guys, let's break into our regular In the Zone podcast now. So we're going to start.
Wait, so TK, we are definitely all trying to we're getting there. There's still a little bit. We'll get there.
No, go ahead.
And at the end, it just doesn't matter. It just matters who performs.
Yep,
that's it.
Yeah. Well, Dan had, like we talked about last week, Dan had one bad week last year.
Yep, it was a bad week,
and it was a horrible weekend. It just, he couldn't catch up in game 2.
Yeah.
Well, he caught up in game 2, but couldn't catch up for game 3. Anyway, so
we're gonna have to reach out to Dan, I think, and get some tips on how not to have a one bad week in the wrong time.
Yeah, you can figure that out.
Maybe he's some pointers so I can proactively use.
Like, he was putting up 60-point games in the 9-10 game, and the what was it?
Hazen team
9-12 game. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, now we're going to break into our normal podcasting here. So on top of the Bossy division is no surprise. The Harrison Lakers at 22-1-1 for 45 points. Another successful week at 2-0. The Lakers easily beat the Rangers, who should have put up a much bigger fight than that, but they also beat Mustangs 6-1 as well. So, I mean, I got to tell you, people have been talking about the weak Bossy division all year and that, and Renee just absolutely pounded 2 and 3 from the Langway. Renee, tell us about it.
To be honest, right now, I think all the results are pretty skewed with the COVID and all that kind of thing. So, I mean, it just depends on who you have on your team at any one particular moment in time. I mean, and also if you're able to, if the COVID is soon enough, so you can get them out of your lineup. So, I mean, I heard today about Ehlers going in the protocol, so I took him out of my lineup, but I mean, I could have heard about that tomorrow, and then he's gone for a week, right? So I think right now, especially with all the postponements and there's not as many games, I think, to be honest, the results are a little bit skewed, but yeah, that being said, I mean, if
22-1-1 is not skewed.
What's that?
21-1 is not a skewed result. That is real and earned.
It helps to have guys on your bench. I mean, I usually don't have as many of these guys on my bench, and 3 goalies even, and that kind of thing, 3 starting goalies. So Demko didn't play at all last week. He's like player of the month for December. So
Yeah.
now, he's not available. So, plug in the other guys. I think having some depth on your bench really helps, especially with the COVID stuff going on right now. So those teams that maybe don't have an extra guy or two, they're really going to feel it if they get unlucky results, right? So,
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Ryan,
There was two guys that you got that, like, I was so upset, like, over the years. It was Saros.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think me and TK made a deal there. Like, I was like, you draft him and I'll trade for him because he was like prospect still. And then TK maybe forgot. And then you took him in the 4th. And then
yeah,
Theodore I wanted. I
I
think
did.
I waited 1 round too long, and then I Lakers scoop them up. And I was like, God, dang it, those like those 2 guys. I was like, I really wanted those 2 guys.
my most frustrating Rene moment was Huberdeau. And
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
TK, Huberdeau is all there for the taking,
It
like,
was.
You picked before me.
and you know what, because they were on different days, right, back to back. You even threw out the knowledge to me that you liked Huberdeau. So what do I do the next? Oh man.
Yeah.
I actually picked him as a prospect in the other league, so I've been with him from the very beginning. Like, he was like rookie of the year in Florida, right? So
Right.
and then he had some few tough years, right? But
I had him in the league, West Coast. I had him in the West Coast hockey. He was part of my. Was he? Yeah, he was part of my cup winning team. I think. Pretty sure.
yeah, that Florida club's pretty good right now. There's a lot
Oh,
of
yeah, for sure.
Unreal.
amazing how
Last
their
year, too.
goaltending is rebounded for you, Terry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
yes.
nice.
That's huge.
That was huge. You know who else has rebounded? Number 2, East Coast Brewers at 17-7-0 for 34 points. Brewers had an excellent week. They went 2-0 as well. And the Brewers beat Moose Lake Jagger 6-1, a game they should have won, but they also took care of the East Coast, the Sealand Hockey Club. So that was kind of a big win. And once again, that's the Bossy division going over with a couple of W's into the Langway division. What do you think about that, Ryan?
Well, MLJ is one of our least strong people from our division, and even Sealand got good has great goaltending. But I think he wants to make the playoffs.
Take a look at the stats of those games, and I think you'll find East Coast Brewers had the 2nd most successful week this week.
Yeah, but even if he did, like, what was Sealand's stats? Like, they weren't that good, probably, right? Like,
True, but what I'm saying is, if he had to play you or me, he would have beat us both.
all right, but like, still, like, we're talking like Sealand. He, like, I don't think he's not tanking, and he wants to make the playoffs. But he's not.
We're talking about the East Coast Brewers.
Yeah, I'm just talking about Sealand's team. He beat Sealand, did he not?
That's why these podcasts last so long, Ryan.
Yeah, but did he beat Sealand or no?
Yes, he did.
Thank you.
But we
So
can
I'm just
go
saying
into
it-
depth on Sealand when we get to Sealand.
Yeah, I guess I could do that. But I'm just saying, like, those 2 wins are, like, you said that you beat
Yes.
the Bossy beat the Langway. I'm just saying you didn't. Those guys weren't their best. Two of our best were the ones that Harrison Lakers beat.
Well, hold on a second. They're not the only ones. But anyway, we're going to go to, what do you think about that, Renee? The East Coast Brewers. I thought they rebounded really well this week. They look like their old self again.
I'm going to call it that. I think the East Coast Brewers are kind of a little bit under the radar here.
I do too.
Because they're in 2nd place, a little bit, a few points behind the 1st place Lakers. But I mean, I think that looking at the stats here, 28 days, they have 92 points in the last month, which is more than the Mustangs, more than the Wolfpack, more than the Rangers, for example. The goaltending, 9-13, 13 win tie shutouts in the last month, plus 29. I mean, those are some solid numbers, right? So
yeah,
I don't think they're really getting a lot of attention because for whatever reason, maybe the other teams in the other division, are just more popular, but looks like on the crossover, they're going to more than likely play against Mustangs or Rangers. So, man, that's going to be a dynamite series. And
Yeah, it's gonna be a great series.
I wouldn't want to play the Brewers in the 1st round of the playoffs. I'll tell you that.
No, neither would I. Donald's got a strong team. damn defense when we talked about that before, right?
But of the top six, who would you want to play in the first round? Right?
Well, none.
Doesn't matter.
Actually.
Exactly. So
It doesn't really matter.
yeah, even Bo, even like Wolfpack, he could take us. He could take any of us out.
Bo,
And
Bo's
Pitter Patter,
coming.
like the Pitter Patter with the goaltending, if he can get it quick in there to stay up, like those guys would take anybody out. Look at Pitter Patter's week last week. If we
Yeah.
when we get to that, like that's
All
That's
right, so
tough.
now we're going to talk about the third place Islanders, who actually had a really good week as well this week. So the Islanders are now 13-8-3 for 29 points. This week they went 1-0-1, beating the Outlaws easily 6-1. Ironically, the Islanders, for some reason, have always had problems with the Outlaws, so it was nice to have a nice easy win against JB. It's been a long time, and then. I think the Islanders and the Bruins had the battle of the week. It was a fantastic game and ended up at a 3-3 tie. The highest it ever got was 5-2 for Ryan, I think, for maybe a day and a half, but it was mostly 4-3 for me, 4-3 for him, 4-3 for me, 4-3 for him, 4-3. And then Sunday was equally as exciting because I got 2 points out of Kyrou. I was 1 point behind Ryan, and those 2 points helped me time in points, put them in my head, gave me the 4-3 win. But there was one player left to play that night, and that's Sonny Milano with the Ducks, and he got 1 assist. So boom, there we tied it right up, and I think it was a great game. What do you think, Ryan?
yeah, easy peasy, eh? Just right in the middle tie week. No, it was tough. And then yeah, that Sunday game where it was 1-0 for Dallas until like 45 seconds left. Somebody in St. Louis tripped one of the Dallas guys. Should have been called. No,
I
call. It was
forgot that
Carter,
part.
actually.
I forgot that part. Kyrou, 2 points in 12 seconds and his
Yeah.
first one came with 28 seconds left in the game, and his
Yeah.
second point came with 16 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, that was it. I was looking at him like, I didn't want to look. I hate because I'm like, it's 1-0 with 2 minutes left. And I was like, I didn't want to look, and I was like, I'll take a look. And it's like 2-1. And I'm like, just check the site. I'm like, oh, now I'm down. It's like, oh, what the heck just happened?
Did you follow that game at all, Renee?
I didn't follow the game, no, but I heard about what happened though. Like it's
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was wild. And then Ryan was just getting ticked off throughout the week because I got a 10-minute misconduct from Tarasenko and Jeannot, and I only lost by 1 penalty minute. But
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
close.
if I had a won,
Yeah.
we'd be hearing a whole different story from Ryan tonight. If I had a
Yeah,
done
that was
penalty
annoying.
category.
It's annoying. But that's what Renee says, right? Like anybody can win. You just need, 2 guys to go for like.
How is it
20
annoying? You got a goal for that category.
Oh, the
So
penalty
can I
minutes?
have my misconduct?
No, you shouldn't get. Where are my misconducts? I haven't had a shutout all year.
Oh, you got Vasilevsky. I think you're going to get one.
I hope so. He
Oh,
got
yeah.
lit up by the Bruins, eh? That's a tough one too.
He does that every once in a while. He just tunes out
Yeah.
for the day.
He's still fun to watch though.
Sometimes it happens for 2-3 days or 2-3 games, and then after that, he's just a freaking rock star for about 20. All right, so the other guy that we wanted to talk about earlier, because man, this guy had one fan. This may have been a season turning series for this team. Pitter Patter sitting now 12-10-2 at 26 points, going 2-0 this week. Pitter Patter did the same thing the Lakers did. They pounded the 2 and 3 team from the Langway division. Pitter Patter
Good job,
beat the
Steve.
Stangs 6-1 and beating the Rangers 5-2. Renee, what do you think of Steve Grant's Pitter Patter?
Well, he's coming off a big trade there with
Yeah.
Ryan, although that didn't count for this particular week,
No,
right? So,
no.
but yeah, he's definitely in the mix. Nice to see some good results there for sure. Bringing up,
Yeah, especially getting like quick too, eh?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's could be a Bruins pitter patter matchup in the first round potentially. So,
Yeah.
How great would that be, Drysdale?
that would be
coming back
interesting,
and
especially after
taking
that
me out?
trade.
Yeah, that's right. That'd be the
Drysdale.
best. Hey, just take me out, Drysdale. That'd be so much fun for me.
What did you think of my cojones comment?
On
Those
the
are some serious cojones to trade Drysdale at 5 years.
Hey, it's just a player. It's just a player. They're all just players.
To Ryan, he's just a pawn on a chessboard.
Exactly.
Like
Like Bill
Is that the way
Belichick.
Harry Sinden used to manage? Just a guy,
Did he? Yeah.
Although
Was
I
he
don't
good?
think he would have traded Bobby Orr. But
No, I
anyway.
don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
I would never trade Bobby
Yeah.
if I had him.
But for me, this was a crucial week for Steve, because guess what? Fourth place is a playoff spot in the Bossy division. So to go 2-0 against those two teams is just it's just huge for him, and it puts him 2 games over 500 and gives him a little separation from Flying Colors as well. So huge week for Steve.
Yes, it was. Good job. Well done,
Yeah.
Steve.
Well done,
Way to
Steve.
battle.
Yeah.
Good battle.
Good battle indeed. And so in 5th place and still not out of a playoff spot is Flying Colors. And they're once again hovering right around 500. Big surprise there. 11, 12, and 1 for 23 points. And Garrow had a 500 week. You know he's going to get a tie one of these weeks, and that whole record's going back to 500. But this week he went 1-1. He beat the Living Skies Capitals 4-2, and the Wolfpack thumped him 6-0. Ryan.
Yeah, it's tough. Bo's got a strong squad, but Garrow's he's still fighting too. Like, and I think he's actually got 2 firsts, so he's fighting with 2 firsts. So his team should be even stronger next year. And I think he still might be making a move or 2. He's been putting feelers out there. So
He does. He has feelers out there.
yeah, he's another fighter. He's never tanked. Like, it might have looked like his team maybe once or twice tanked, but he's never tanked.
If you let's just take a look at Garrow's progress. So basically he was in like the bottom 4 for 3-4 years, and now he's in the next level, the 5 to 8, and he's been there for about getting close to 3-4 years now. So maybe next year is the year that he moves into those playoffs.
Yeah, with those 2 firsts and Jack Hughes starting to just
or maybe it's this year.
Show him.
You never know with COVID. Who knows? All right, so
could be a Renee and Garrow first round matchup.
Yeah, it could be. So obviously in 6th place, they were on the way up, but it's pretty obvious now the Flames are in full rebuild, and they are now 7-14-3 for 17 points, and they went 1-1 for the week. The Flames beat Moose Lake Jagger 4-3, barely. And then Sealand beat the Flames 5-2, and Wes put up the white flag. And finally, I think this is the first time I ever recall Wes making a move for next year. I think it's a really good one. What do you think, Renee?
Yeah, he's in that 500 zone, right? So I definitely think he can still make the playoffs. He's with one of those 4 that we mentioned before, one of the 4 teams vying for those 2 spots. So it's up to him. I think I like Leonard Net. He hasn't been playing lately for Vegas, so he's back in the pipes. So that'll help him a lot. So last week I noticed that Deline was on the bench as well, and Shen got a couple of points. So I mean, he definitely, it's up to him how he wants to approach it. But if he wants to still try to make the playoffs, even after the trades that he's made, he still can do that. We saw Dean switch mid-year years, whatever, how he wanted to approach things. So, nothing is for sure. There's lots of season left. There's half a season, right? So, I mean, just play it by ear. But a couple of his guys get really hot. I think he might think a little differently. Maybe we'll see.
It's very possible too. And who knows if he's got the players that mostly miss games and that. And it's going to turn out to be a big advantage eventually for
it's going to be interesting.
Who haven't gotten them, you know what I mean? And so there could be some interesting results coming in the back half of the season. What do you think of Wes's move? Do you think it was the right call, Ryan?
To give up? I don't know.
I don't say give up, but concede to the rebuild.
Differently orient your team. I think he still could contend. Like Kachuk's no slouch. He's got too many flames. I
was going to ask that actually in the trade there for McDavid, how much of the fact that he was getting Kachuk the flame was a part of that trade, why he wanted to pull the trigger, right? So
more than that, Kachuk happens to be his favorite player. So I that would have been like me 6 years ago picking John Tavares first overall out of position because I was a Tavares fan. So yeah, I knew Wes I'd always liked the Chuck. And so you put together that he's a Calgary Flame and that it's his favorite player, and that helped pull the trigger. Plus, he was really pissed off at what McDavid was doing. And I told him, I said, there's no way an Edmonton Oilers is going to perform for a Calgary Flame fan. So I said, he's going to light it up as an Islander, I tell you, because at least you won't have that resentment of being on a Flame fans team.
I like it. Psychological.
Yeah, warfare there. So,
but he does have too many flames, right? You guys, have you seen his team?
Yes, yes.
Wes, get rid of a flame or two.
I can't say anything because I always have too many Islanders.
You do have a lot of Islanders, yes. And Bo's got a lot of Rangers, and it's like, yes. I don't get that. I understand because you want to, like, I have 2 Bruins now. I guess 3. Yeah. Rask, Marchand, and Hall. But those guys are good.
I love those 3-point goals. There's something about them.
It is nice.
There's just, they don't happen very often, but when you get those 3-point goals, that's just like, oh man, really? Everybody's mine.
Yeah, that is nice.
Okay, so and that takes care of Wes, but I think I'm just going to combine these two because it is just such a great battle going on for that first overall seed going into the playoffs for the first overall pick. So basically, we've got the Florida Gators currently at 321 and 0 for 6. They are currently on a 17-game losing streak. They went 0-2, losing to the Caps 4-2, and they lost to the Wolfpack 6-1. Highlanders it was dicey there throughout the week. They were beating the Outlaws for quite a bit, but right at the very end of the week, the Outlaws finally came back and beat the Highlanders 4-3, and the Bruins easily handled the Highlanders 6-0. So they're a 221-1 for 5 points and 321-0 for 6 points. These guys are battling her out for that first overall pick. What do you think of that, Renee?
Yeah, it's actually rather exciting, I guess.
It is. Did you see Dan opened up with 4-point night from
5?
Was it Gressler? 5?
5. 1 goal, 4 assists. That's amazing.
And last week, that Saunderson or whoever the golden
Sanders, whatever his name is,
Sandra Strom or whatever it is. That is so funny. That is so funny. And it's like I was saying in the podcast before last week, Renee, that first overall seed made a big difference between me and Ryan last year. That was actually the tiebreaker that got him Draisaitl over Panarin.
And now he's gone.
And now he's gone. So anyway, that's pretty much it for the Bossy division this week. So recapping, we got the Lakers out front at 22-1-1 for 45 points. We followed up by the Brewers 11 points back at 17-7-0 for 34 points. The Islanders, who are up and coming, are 13-8-3 for 29 points, with Pitter Patter having a fantastic week for them and getting themselves into a playoff spot at 12-10-2 for 26 points. Flying Colors hanging in there by going 500, so they're still definitely in view of they're only 1 week away from being in a playoff spot. So that's how close Flying Colors is right now. So they're only 3 points out. They go 2-0. That team goes 0-2. They're a point in the playoffs. So there you go. All of it. Wouldn't that be something if all of a sudden the Bossy grabbed the second wild card spot? That would be.
It's
amazing.
Possible.
That would be amazing.
It's possible.
It is. And then, of course, we're talking about Wes at 7-14-3 for 17 points, and it kind of looks like he's at the playoffs. He's 9 points back, so that's almost a month's worth of winning everything while the other team was losing everything. So it's doubtful. Yeah. And we already talked about the battle going on between the Gators and the Highlanders down at the bottom there. So that kind of recaps our week for the Bossy division. Okay, so that's going to bring us to the Langway division. And, look at that big smile on Ryan Kelly's face. All of a sudden, bring up the Langway division. There's a big smile come on that face. So Bruins still on top and actually taking out some or clearing some extra space between him and second place. So Bruins had an excellent week going 1-0-1. They're now 18-4-2 for 38 points. the Bruins beat the Highlanders very easily 6-0 and tied the Islanders 3-3. Ryan.
Yeah, the Highlander game was not much of a watch or effort. I know there's not much effort that we do into this, but and that one between me, we talked about it was back and forth. COVID played a part, and penalties played a part. Rick Bowness was throwing a stick on Sunday for all the bad calls. Then Cairo getting those 2 points. I was with him. I was with you, Bonus. And it was a battle, but I got 3 points, and I'm still on top. So it was a good week.
All right, good job. What do you think, Renee? Ryan seems to be 18-4-2. Pretty impressive for division leader.
Yeah, it wasn't so long ago that Dean was on top there for a week, right? So,
Yep.
I mean, that's how fast things can switch, right? So,
Yep.
but yeah, with all the player moves and roster changes and stuff, I don't know. My head's still spinning. I don't know which team and who I'm supposed to cheer for or not cheer for or whatever. I guess I'll have a few more weeks to kind of get adjusted to the new reality or whatever. But anyway,
I think it's all straightened out this week, isn't it? Everybody's where they should be now from the trades and everything.
yeah, but that could change tomorrow, right? So I mean, it's like,
Hey, never not working. I'm always looking, but I like
That's right.
so I like Barkov. He's like, on the best seasons, they probably like Drysdale could probably get like 140 or so. And Barkov, he get like 105. So there's some discrepancy there. Hurdle's good. And I kept reading like he's a UFA and he's probably gonna get traded. And the 3 teams he's gonna get traded to are like impossible. Were either like the Rangers, which I would love. The Avalanche would be killer, and the Bruins. So I'm like, so that kind of piqued my interest. And I like that Uyghur, that defenseman Uyghur. He's pimped. He's got good plus minus. He's got 20 plus points. And I was like, and I got a 3rd and a 4th, and I upgraded my draft picks. I'm like, oh well, I mean that's a pretty good deal. I just had to go with it.
Yeah, I think it's a good deal for you. It's solid, but like I don't know if I could have done it. The guys like Draisaitl come along so rare. I agree with everything you said. Do you agree, Renee? Do you see that as who did you think favored in that trade?
I think it's really hard to say, especially because you have like some longer term guys there. But I can see why Ryan would have traded Draisaitl in that trade to get the players that he got back, and the package that he got. So, and he's really not giving up too much then this year also. So it's not like that kind of thing. So I can definitely see for Ryan that'd be pretty good for year 2, year 3 type of thing. So I think that Uyghur has established himself as a really top 2 pair defenseman now with Florida. He was one of the one of the top defensemen approved last year. So yeah, I mean, usually I would say in all of Ryan's trades that generally speaking, he usually gets the best player in the trade. So I think this is probably one of the rare ones where he didn't actually get the very best player in the trade.
Agreed.
So that's a little bit, different, kind of nice to see or whatever. So it's a little, I think it's a more of a long-term sort of thing. And, you'd have to revisit that in a few years. So, but it definitely doesn't hurt him very much this year. And yeah, anybody, if you get Draisaitl, I mean, on your team, I mean, that you can, for 5 years, you can definitely have,
a no-brainer
around there, considering all of the
he's
work,
in his prime,
all of the work and all of the effort and all of the tanking, and all of the,
you get
moves
a
and putting
Draisaitl.
on like players that are injured and putting in guys who are retired and whatever else, and then picking up new guys to make sure you can get the number 1 pick or whatever, right? So, and then he's gone.
Yeah.
It's kind of entertaining, I guess.
the
It's fun.
the 1st and 3rd overall picks have gotten traded. Pasternak and Draisaitl
Oh yeah, Pasta. Yeah, that's right too.
have both been traded.
Well, so of the 4 was Carlson traded.
Who had Carlson?
JP traded him to Dean.
Okay, that's crazy.
And I think 5 got traded because I think JP had Gensel and he traded him to me.
Yes, he did have Gensel.
So
Yeah.
I will say though, I give Ryan a lot of credit. I mean, like you said, Kahuna's there, Terry. I mean, not every day. I don't know. I personally don't go looking to trade like the top scorer, or 2nd top scorer in the league that's signed long term, and a deal. So, but that being said, and if you pivot it all together, then I definitely can understand why he decided to do that. So, and I guess time will tell.
yeah, but like that, the years too, like after Barkov's gone and Uyghur's gone and all I left is Hurdle, like that, like that's year 3 or 4 and 5, that's not good for me, right? Because I can still
Ryan,
Draisaitl.
the one thing I look at, actually, Keith was talking to me about that trade last night, and he's going, but yeah, like 4 years in that. And I said, dude, these guys may have 4 and 3 year contracts, but they'll be lucky to make it another fucking month on this team without being traded. I said, don't be looking at their contracts. they're just little pieces that are eventually
They're all
going
pawns,
somewhere
that's
else.
right.
All 3 of them. I said, all 3 of these guys are probably eventually going somewhere else than other than finishing their contracts with the Bruins.
That's a good possible. I like Barkov a lot, though. He might stick around.
I like Barkov too.
We should actually look into that, Terry. I'm wondering, has there ever been a player that Ryan has selected as a prospect, for
Oh.
example, or even just drafted, for
That has
3 years
made
or
it?
more, that's actually made it the full length of
I-
the contract, on his team? Like, I mean,
Interesting
That would
question.
be,
I like that.
2
that'd be
years
something to look
ago,
into.
2 years ago, he had 2.5 rosters on his team, 30-man rosters, 2.5 years ago. 2.5
That's fun.
rosters.
Hey, that's a lot of people to cheer for.
That's 70 players, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
I will say though, I guess there's nobody untouchable. So
That's
this
true.
point going forward, you always know when you're trading with Ryan, like it's like, oh,
Yep.
I better not ask for Draisaitl because he's not going to trade
Right.
him. Like, no.
Nothing's out of order. The worst part about it is to me is, and then he comes up to me and says to me, he goes, "Yeah, I was thinking of making you an offer for Draisaitl." I'm like, "Why didn't you? At least, why didn't we talk?"
Well, so yeah, I did that offer to see then, right? Because I tried to get Shesterkin and Zegras and Raymond, and I was like, I guess that was too much to take. I would have loved to got Shesterkin. That would have been nice.
Yes.
5 years Shesterkin, he would have stuck around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those goalies, man, those goalies are killer. Right? That's
Yeah.
why, we talked. So Renee, say you had the first pick overall. Who you taking? McDavid or Vasilevsky? Or Matthews or Marner?
Oh, next year?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't take a goalie because I don't need a goalie. But I mean,
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, that's what we said. It's dependent. It's team dependent too. So
when
you
does
didn't-
it,
so you
when
didn't
does it
want-
ever stop you from picking a goalie when you don't need a goalie? You still take him.
But who's the better? Who's
I
the better?
personally like to play the prospect games with goalies, as you know,
Yes.
Saros and with
Yep.
Demko and
Yep,
stuff like
yep.
I know
that.
Saros.
So
Yeah.
Well
that's kind of
done.
the way I kind of roll with that, right?
Well
so
done.
But, I leave the picks for forwards for skaters.
Your scouting on goaltenders is elite, Renee. Elite.
So you'd go McDavid then? You're saying you'd pass Vasilevsky, try to get a prospect later on.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
All right. That's pretty good.
It's just me.
Okay, so that brings us to number 2 overall, the McCauley Mustangs. They had a bit of a calling this week as they, after a long string of wins, finally went 0-2 this week. And once again, it was our very own Renee taking care of the Mustangs 6-1, and Steve Grant from Bitter Patter taking care of the Stangs as well. So that leaves the Stangs 17-7 for 34 points. That's 4 points behind Ryan now. So that's the biggest cushion he's ever had in first place for the Langway division this year. And yeah, how'd that game go between you and Keith, Renee?
It wasn't wasn't that even for most of the week, to be
No,
honest with you.
no, it
but
wasn't.
I kind of a pretty good finish to the week for sure. So
Certainly
But,
did. You certainly did. What'd
last
you have in the last
weekend.
day? Or like something like 18 points or something? Or I can't remember.
Yeah,
what
well,
it was.
again,
It
like I
was- it
said,
was a
it-
lot. It was a lot. I remember that.
it depends on who's playing, and with the COVID and all that kind of stuff, and which games are postponed and not postponed and that kind of thing, right? So it sort of worked out for me this week, but
Yeah. So yeah. What do you think, Ryan? 4-point lead now. How's that feel?
Nice. Still too far away from the end of the season to
Yeah.
rest on one's laurels, but yeah, no, it's nice to have now. It's he ran up against like the number 1 team in the league, and then Pitter Patter who had just a crazy good week. So
Yeah.
it's tough. And he probably have COVID guys, and his team didn't perform as well. But I don't think even if they do perform better, he might still lose those 2 games just with the outputs that Lakers and Pitter Patter put. So
Yeah. Yeah, they both Lakers and Pitter Patters had very strong weeks. So since the Mustangs went 0-2, that gave Dean of the Colorado Rangers the chance to easily leapfrog the Mustangs with them going 0-2. However, the Rangers also went 0-2 this week at 16-8-0 for 32 points. Our very own Renee took care of the Rangers as well did Steve Grant. Renee took care of him 6-1. Steve beat him 5-2. Once again, Renee.
Yeah,
Probably
Rangers didn't get as
same
many
answer.
points. Didn't get as many points this week. Only 24, right? So, and their goaltending, which they've been relying on all year, with the Vezina candidate Soupy Campbell and Markstrom, has kind of hit a bit of a tough spell here recently in Calgary, it looks like. But yeah, so not the greatest week for Dean, but yeah, pitter patter. It's the way you do it. So.
Well, what is with that Soupy Campbell? I mean, a middle linebacker from the Ottawa Rough Riders in the 1960s with the last name of Campbell gets nicknamed Soupy because of Campbell soup, and now everybody just named Campbell. You're automatically Soupy, especially when. Does anybody even really know about Campbell soup anymore these days?
I don't know.
It used to be so prominent, but like the joke's gone stale. That's all I'm saying. It's gone.
Was it Mikheyev? Wasn't he nicknamed Soupy too? Oh, wasn't there something to do with him liking soup like a year ago or 2 years ago? I could have swore it was like,
No.
yeah, because he said he liked something in
Campbell
interviews.
soup?
Like he loves soup and whatever. And
yeah,
then
so they would have called him Soupy. Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes
and
100%
then
sense. So do
Jack
we
comes
call
in
it
and-
Deneau Pizza now?
who?
No.
No.
Do we
Is
call
he
it
pizza?
Oh my God. Weren't you watching the playoffs last year? Didn't you watch finals? Every time you went to a
I
press
was in-
conference, you had a pizza with him.
That's
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Nah, I was in Egypt. I didn't want to stand
Oh,
that.
shoot. Yeah. Sorry. Defending us. Damn it. I forgot. Sorry about that, Ryan.
Hold back the
And,
hordes.
yeah, it's good to have you back again, man. I'm really happy you're
Oh,
home,
thanks.
home safe again, buddy.
Appreciate that.
However, even though the Rangers did not take advantage of the Mustangs, the Port Elgin Wolfpack did take advantage of taking a huge gap, still a big gap, but definitely closing it by going 2-0 this week. The Wolfpack beat Flying Colors easily 6-0. And then they had the game they should have won against the Gators 6-1. So now Wolfpack are only 4 points behind the Rangers, which we know is 1 week.
Yeah, and beating the Flying Colors, possible, definitely competition from the other side for the wild card. Even though Bo's in fourth now, it doesn't really. He still needs to keep winning to stay out of that dreaded wild card crossover. Like it's pitter patter, Flying Colors, Sealand, and Bo. But that was a huge win against the Flying Colors, and that hurt Garo, and it really helped Bo.
Yeah, and that means by Wolfpack being in fourth place, it means they've hotchkotched over the Sealand Hockey Club. So great job by Bo getting into a legit playoff spot now. But like he said, still close to that wild card position as well. So so Sealand came right behind them. They're now 13-11 for 26 points. So they're only 2 points behind Port Elgin. They went 1-1 for the week. Sealand took care of the Flames 5-2, who were getting no help from McDavid being on COVID. So West didn't really have a chance. And the Brewers beat Sealand easily 6-1. Sealand didn't really actually have a very good week.
What do you think? What do you think, Renee?
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at just check out the week was here for Sealand. 23 points, right? So
Yeah.
2 wins.
Not good.
So, but I will say though, I really like their goaltending going forward.
Well,
Yeah.
that's pretty much what's gotten them the 13 wins is their goaltending. They've rode their goal. They've had a lot of 4-3 wins, 2 goalie goals. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's
Well,
how
they
won.
beat Renee. How'd that feel, Renee? Was that the only team that beat you so far?
So great. I love it.
Nice one, RK. Nice one.
Hey, it's the only one, it's the only one we
Nice
got.
to-
so.
It's
Yeah.
nice to know the trivia is working for you guys. Hey, you remember these things like it's burned into your brain or something.
That's right. So with
I want to know
Sealand,
about this Raymond though. What's going to happen with Raymond on Sealand?
Like, you think he'll like? What do you mean? If he just
I
like as
think
a-
it's the
as
real
his
deal.
career? Or?
I think he's.
Oh, I think
real
so
deal.
too. Yep.
No, I mean,
I-
is he gonna sign him?
Yeah, that's what I don't think so. I don't.
What, mid-season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I don't think so. He doesn't.
It's not his style.
No, and he doesn't do many trades. Like he just, I don't know.
He's got 30 points.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's a huge help to your team, right?
I don't know.
But he just, I don't think. I don't
Well,
know.
I-
I'd
If
love
you're
to-
battling for the playoffs, instead of
Yeah.
making a trade, you got a guy in your
Just
bench,
sign
or
him, yeah.
prospect,
And
For
not
30
only
points. I don't know. These 30-point players don't grow on trees around.
not
here.
No.
not only battling for a playoff spot, but this is the first time that Sealand has actually dropped out of a playoff spot with
Yeah.
the Wolfpack passing him by being in fifth, where last week Bo was in a wild card spot in fifth. Sealand is not in a wild card spot in fifth place in Langway. So that's 4 from each league right now. So yeah, you're right. He's basically 2 points out of a playoff spot. And I don't know how big is a captain's checkbook. Well, he's not a captain anymore, but he's a civilian making even more money than a captain would make. So what does $25 mean to what does $25 mean to Sealand to sign him? I don't know.
And look at his other prospects, Renee. Doesn't he have like he could package 1 or 2 guys. Like you don't have to make trades, but he has the assets to do things, right? You don't have to trade away your picks. You can sign Raymond and flip one guy to something else, and then you're more of a contender.
Yeah, I mean, Zadina is there, right? You got Sillinger as well, and Eklund, San
Yeah.
Jose. I mean, there's some quality prospects for sure that you can definitely probably turn into decent contract, guys, couple your guy or something. Help you out
agree.
right now, since you don't need
agree.
goaltending, right?
Yep. Especially because you got Billington for 2 years. You got to kind of capitalize. You should almost capitalize this year because Bennington for next year. So you might have him for 1. You'll have him and Shesterkin again, but then after that, Bennington's gone. Unless you get another goalie like that, you don't have the strength that strong of goaltending. So you got to. I mean, you do what you want, but you got to capitalize on stuff like that.
Well, I'm just looking at the stats here for points the last 28 days, and Sealand is a bit down the list, right? So that's one area where they definitely could improve, right, at their club. So I mean, if you bite the bullet there on Raymond, I mean, extra point or 2 a week or something, that could really help out here, especially with half the season left. It's not like it's just for a couple of weeks. You still have a full half a season worth of Raymond now that he's top line guy, top power play. Detroit's doing all right. Maybe at the beginning of the season they would of course made that deal, that choice, but now I think things changed. So I'm looking. It's very interesting, I think, to see what will happen with that player, because it's an opportunity to not having to make a trade. You can just do it from within.
Yeah, I agree. Something, but you got to get him on, Terry.
Yep.
Has
I
he
think
been
we
on
got
these
to
yet?
get Mr. Guy. I haven't seen Chris in a long time, so I wouldn't mind getting him on the podcast. That'd be great to
Yes.
see Chris again.
See what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. God, when did we work together? Was that in like 2010?
That long ago, right?
2011? Yeah. Well, Moose Jaws. So 2011 was my last year. I believe he was still there when I left. Yeah. I know he left and then came back. So because he got out of the military and that. But yeah, it'd be good to see Chris again. It'd be nice to see him. Nice guy. All right. So continuing a bad trend from last week, the Outlaws, who went 1-0-1 last week and leapfrogged Nick of Moose Lake Jagger to pull out of the bottom 4. That was a disaster for them. They were 2 points behind MLG at that time. And now this week they went 1-1 again. The Outlaws beat the Highlanders 4-3. And the Islanders easily took care of the Outlaws, but that leaves the Outlaws now at 5-13-6 for 16 points.
That's a lot. That's a lot for a team that doesn't. I don't know. You get JP on this too. Maybe he can clarify some things too. See what is he trying to tank? Is he trying to he has bad luck? I don't know. He's really improved his goaltending though, because he had Subban for 5, which was garbage, right? And Corpuscello for 3 or 4, who just didn't work out for him. They both didn't work out. Now he's got Samsonov for 4, and he picked up Talbot for 2. So he's really improved his goaltending.
Yeah, for sure. Which will also come in handy come time for the playoffs for him down there. So
Yeah, that's true.
and does he have a second rounder or
He's
first
got,
rounder? I mean,
he definitely, he might have 2 firsts.
maybe he doesn't this year.
He's definitely got a couple seconds.
Yeah. So anyway, Nick took full advantage of that and went 0-2 this week, and now put a gap between him and JP, because Nick went 0-2, losing easily to the Brewers 6-1. And the Flames, who didn't have the greatest week, squeaked by Moose Lake Jagger 4-3. So that gave Nick the 0-2 week, put him at 5-16 and 3 for 13 points, and now secured a little bit in that bottom 4.
Yeah, and that trade with Dean, and he's got Steve, he's got no goaltending now, so I don't see him winning too many games.
Yeah, no, I don't either. However, it got even better for Nick. Not only did he put 3 point space in between him and the Outlaws, but the Capitals went 1-1 this week. The Capitals beat the Gators 4-2. And Flying Colors just beat the Capitals 4-2. So Al went to 5-17 and 2 for 12 points. So now Nick is only 1 point away from the 3rd overall spot. So he's now got a 3-point buffer and only 1 point away from catching Al.
I don't know. Was there much to say about those boys down there, Renee?
The lottery heats up. Renee's not
True.
Renee's not a big lottery guy. He doesn't like being down there. That's not what it's all about for Renee. Renee is just like you, Ryan, compete every year. And you guys are both amazing at doing it. So I'm probably the expert to be talking about down here. So
Well, tell us a story then, because let's late. I don't, who beats who down there.
yeah.
Whatever.
Well, I will say though that last year it was pretty interesting when Ryan was down there, right? So and with all his trades and everything, and just obviously a reminder to everybody that it's nice to have retired players in your lineup, and
Very nice.
guys that are on long-term injury reserve,
Yeah.
and you can Al has Carey Price in
Yep.
net here with Brassard, who never plays, right? So that's pretty good for 0
Well,
starts.
not only does he not only play, but he got injured to boot. So now he really is never going to play.
So, that's good. But don't forget, like around, week 20 or whatever, you got to have a lineup, right?
That's
so,
right.
Yes, you do.
And so you got to make sure you should be able to field at least a starting lineup of some sort, right?
True,
So,
but once again, I just reiterate. I mean, unless you're battling for the 1st overall pick or second, man, there's really no. Yeah, you're right.
It's still always good to
You
control your own
need
destiny.
to battle. You need to battle
Yeah.
to get either Vasilevsky or McDavid. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I would make sure my team was good and secure for that battle.
Like you would think, like Dan, who's really low, like he should, and I don't know if he is, but he should figure out at one point he can get points. Like what week
Yes.
is when, if he wins them all, which he probably won't, he'll be out of that bottom 4, right? And then you can start picking up guys and
Yes.
even maybe playing, like maybe
Yes.
play spoiler against some people.
Right. That's kind of what I do as well. Once I'm clinched into that spot, then it doesn't matter if I'm first. This is all the inside tips on how to.
this is so new for me, Terry. All this good inside information. I never know. It's exciting. It's like,
Well, you
new
never
material.
know. You never know what will happen one day. You might be down there. And I doubt it. I doubt it, but you never know. You never know. So so that takes care of the Langway division. Let's give it a little quick recap here. We have the Bruins sitting on top, Mr. Kelly at 38 points, 18-4-2, and opening a gap of 4 points on the Mustangs, who are 17-7 for 34 points. And
Space feels nice.
yeah, no kidding. And the Rangers didn't do any better than the Mustangs, so they went to 16-8-0 for 32 points. Wolfpack made a move, though. They closed the gap between themselves and the Mustangs with 2 wins this week and going 12-8-4 for 28 points. Sealand went 1-1 for 26 points, and the Outlaws went 1-1 for 5-13-6 for 16 points, and have moved way up the ladder away from the bottom 4. And Moose Lake Jagger had a successful week with 2 losses and now have 13 points, and the Capitals have come up to within a point of the Moose Lake Jagger with 5-17-2 for 12 points. So that's that is the Langway division and the Bossy division. So we've wrapped up that part of the week, and I'm very scared now about something that happened earlier in the podcast, and I was grinding my teeth and I go, oh damn, this is gonna ruin my trivia question. Ah, it's time for trivia, and normally
I love trivia. Let's do it.
I know you do. And normally I would have given Renee first guess at this, but
But he knows it.
well, after what I heard tonight, I think I'll let you guess first, Ryan,
right.
and then Renee can tell us the answer, because but unless he was focused in on something, I have a very strong feeling Renee will know the answer. So this one's going out to you first, Ryan. So you're ready for it?
Ready.
In the season 2015,
Oh man.
2016.
All right.
Renee, no looking up. No looking up. If you're looking up there, don't you be looking up on me, which was season 2.
Okay.
If that helps you at all.
Yep.
What team lost to the Courtney Whalers in the Croydon Cup final?
Oh, is that Nick?
Renee?
I don't remember.
So want to take a guess? Geez, you were looking up all the winners.
Yeah, I didn't look up the final
seeding,
game.
and I was going. He wasn't looking at who he beat.
I didn't look at the final game.
Yeah. So who you got, Ryan? You got Nick.
I got Nick. I know he finished second at some point. I don't know if
think-
he finished second too.
I think it was me.
I
No,
think it was you. Okay.
Yeah.
And it was actually Moose Like Jagger, Nick Salter. And you know what? When I looked this one up, I was absolutely surprised. I had completely forgot that Nick went to a final.
Yeah.
It totally slipped my mind.
it
when
sort of
Keith-
rings a bell now.
Yeah, it does. Once I saw it and started thinking about it again, I'm going, oh, yeah, that's right too. He's 15
When
freaking
Keith
years
and
old
Nick
at
were
the
on that
time.
one podcast with us, right? The four of us. It was like champ, right? And I think Nick was like finalist or something.
Oh, yeah,
Like
could have
on
been.
like the Zoom thing,
Yeah.
their names.
Yeah,
But
that's
I knew he
right.
made it to one, and I was like, why not guess him?
I completely forgot about that. I knew about his rock solid season last year but yeah, I'd completely forgot that year too. So if anybody ever had asked me, like, I'd have been the same as you, Renee, who beat the Courtney Whalers? Oh, geez. Lindsay's letdowns. I don't know.
I was trying to remember some of those old names.
Yeah.
Oh, who farted, and Dan's
who
derpy
farted?
danglers, and I had to
Yeah.
straighten the boys out a little bit on that. Hey guys, this is kind of like a serious league here. Could you maybe tighten up those names just a little bit? All right. So anyway, that brings us to that time when we go check in on the little lady. We all know who the little lady is, and guess what? She's almost this week going up 2 weeks, because we were missing a week from Fancy, and she has her week back now. So now she has the full analysis of what's been going down here. And in 5th place, the Courtney Islanders stayed up there at 117.51-12 for 246 points. And I guess I'll go to me first. And I'm thrilled to be in the top 5. It was a long, hard chase to get there. And I always felt my team was better than it was. I was 2-6-2, not exactly 0-8, Renee, but I'm trying to make my own little early season slump and make a run. So I'm very happy to finally be in the top 5.
Yeah, I think it's well deserved, Terry. I mean, it was a bit of a tough start to the season for you, and especially after all those picks you had last year. And it's a exciting, brand new season and everything. So, but just I'm sure you have. Look at the stats and stuff. Your team is definitely trending upwards and on the right track. And who knows by end of season what the little lady will say about the Islanders.
That's right. That'd be nice to hear. It's like me and Ryan were talking last week about oh shoot, I forgot. I totally forgot. It was about oh no, it's got something to do with the Mustangs. Yeah, I remember what it was. Me and Ryan last week were talking about how you take a look at the bottom 4 lottery teams last year. You've got the Bruins up in first place, you got the Mustangs in second place, and you got the Islanders now in third place of the Bossy division. I'm possibly going to take a run at Dono. I hope to anyway.
Yeah, that's yeah, you talk about Fancy all the time and you fawn over her like,
She's my girl.
and now she's fawning over you a little bit. So it's a little give, little
Yeah,
take.
I never thought of it that way. That's kind of a nice way to do it. And in fourth place, this person did not move a whole lot. However, they had one of the biggest record adjustments, like going upwards in the 2 weeks that were missing from the fancy stats from last year. No, the East Coast Brewers. The East Coast. Yeah, he's in fourth place. But he's 130, 42, and 8 for 268 points. Now, that may not sound as good because the Islanders are coming on. I don't know if you remember when the Wolfpack was in fifth place. They were like almost a consistent 30 points behind the Brewers. But the Islanders have closed that gap to 22 points. So, which means the Islanders are even that much further behind the Brewers. So they're closing the gap. However, when you go to third place and look at the Colwood Rangers, who are 132, 41, and 7 at 271 points. So that's only a 3-point difference. So Dono made a huge jump. I don't know if you remember last week, it was something like 15, 20 points.
I do not remember. No.
It was a big gap. It was a big gap. And Dono is just right beside him now, only 3 points difference in all those games. So Dono probably made the most, and probably myself, in for distancing myself. Like I'm way ahead of the Wolfpack now, and it's not even close. So yeah, so there we got the Rangers in third, but
Well, Dono was in second, right? Wasn't he second?
No,
Early
you and Rangers were tied last week.
Wasn't early on in the season, Dono? I thought he was number 2 for a little bit.
I don't think he ever got up. He might have got up to 2, but last week you and the Rangers were tied, and so the Rangers suffered big time. The Brewers scored big time. Don't forget, we're talking about 30 games here, right?
Yeah.
Since last week's done. So anyway, Ryan, that means you broke the tie at 140, 31, and 9 for 289 points. That's huge difference.
Yes.
You're
And
tied.
it feels good for about halfway during the season, but it means nothing to me until the end of the season.
You don't have such an intimate relationship with the fancy lady
Yes.
like Terry does, obviously.
No, I do not, Renee. I do
Well,
not.
you get a little bit closer, she might be kind to you. You think she doesn't see these digs on here? You keep throwing her away.
Hey, I never said a bad word about her. I just said you got more than a good relationship, and you fawn over her, just
He's found them a little diggish.
Sure, all right. If that's the way you see it. You love her. Of course, it sounds diggish. I'm talking about your woman.
And once again, Renee, you're still pulling away, but just minimally now on the Bruins each week, like maybe 2 points a week now. And the Lakers, once again, are where they've been all season at 161, 15, and 4 for 325 points. So you're up to a, what's that, a 36-point gap now? No, shit, 11 and 25 is 36, yeah.
So what you should do, Terry, is actually draw a line in the sand right now, because we're in the middle of the season,
I could do that.
and do your fancy like for second half fancy now.
Ooh.
All
I
of the teams have been improved.
Yeah,
and
that would be
trades and all that kind of stuff. So maybe we can throw
that would
this
be
fancy out
awesome
the
if you
window.
could do that, eh? Wouldn't that be
Well, you
awesome?
can. All you have to do is remember your
Manually. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I since the website fix up, like I've got notes here, so that I read off of while I'm
Actually,
doing
you
the
can go back and
podcast.
fancy week by week and see what the total is, the accumulated total, if you
Yes.
want to.
Yeah,
So,
and so I've been keeping all my notes too because I don't trust CBS. So I've
Yes.
been keeping all my standings, so I haven't been getting rid of them. So I still got them up to date. So
But I think the new fancy would be interesting second half of the season now that we have these really strong teams and everybody's kind of stocked up. And I think it'll be much more interesting and to see because it's going to be pretty
I like
close.
that. I like
I
that.
agree. All right. So I think it's that time to move on to, are you a pretender or are
Or
you?
a contender.
That's right. You know what? I'll be honest with you this week. I don't really have a pretender or contender at all. However, well, no, Fancy says they're all where they basically should be, but and the only reason I haven't put these two teams into a pretender or contender category is because they're kind of close to each other, but they're really the only two teams that should be at a place, but then the one team maybe should still be in the place that they're at. So basically I'm talking about the Port Elgin Wolfpack, who are 102, 60, and 18. Currently, they sit 6 points behind the Macaulay Mustangs. And Macaulay Mustangs right now are 97, 75, and 8. Now that puts Keith about 10 wins behind the Wolfpack, and yet the Wolfpack are 6 points difference. But since they're both in a playoff spot, they're not really a pretender or a contender. They're just two teams in the wrong spot.
Yeah, good analysis.
Yeah. So that's what we got for pretender or contender. Oh, you are going. Yeah. Thanks for the input, guys. Yeah, didn't leave me hanging there at all.
Wow.
I
You just said there's nothing to talk about. It's
I-
where it's supposed to be.
Don't
Exactly.
take me literally, guys. Don't take me literally. Nothing I ever say is literal. All right. So anyway, that brings us to the games of the week. And I think we got some really good games of the week to look at this week. So we have I think the biggest match of the week is Sealand Hockey Club at 13-11-0 up against Steve Grant's Pitter Patter at 12-10-2. And that's big for playoffs. Go ahead, Ryan. Talk about it.
Well, it's like if Steve can get the 2 points on him, then he just secures his fourth place. Yeah. Like it doesn't secure it, I guess, but it strengthens his position in the playoff race. And if you can push Sealand down, then that's huge.
Yeah, that's the one team he definitely wants to push down.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think it's a big game. So I know, Renee, well, once you were on the cusp there as you qualified and won the cup in fourth place. So you've sort of been on the cusp before. What do you think of this matchup between Sealand and Pitter Patter?
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at it. I see that Shesterkin is in protocols, eh?
Yeah, I had seen that too.
Yeah.
That's bad timing.
That's bad timing. Yes.
But Merzlikins has also been day-to-day for quite a while. So see Blackwood's in. So both the teams are kind of down a goalie. So, which, maybe fair.
The Austrian Merzlikins.
Yeah, that's Austrian.
That's right.
Red and white flag.
we had a conversation once about trades a couple years back between Merzlikins and I think Capo Kakinen and some other pieces, but we never got
Yeah,
got
Ryan
there.
and I don't think Ryan and I have ever made a trade. We've had a couple
I
of
don't think so.
discussions, but
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
sure Ryan's willing to part with 6 players, Renee. I have no doubt in my mind that he would be up for that.
I'm always willing to talk.
That's how Renee trades 6 on 6, man.
I think Ryan's a little shy when it comes to trading.
Oh,
You know,
Very,
I think
very,
actually
very
it'd be
true.
interesting. I don't think I made a trade in this league because I was for over a year and a half, almost 2 years, I think
Yeah.
it was at one
Yeah.
point. So because I was trying to have the different philosophy to players like Ryan and others to try and see that, hey, you don't actually have to trade to actually do well and to win, and you can draft well and you can pick up guys and stuff like that. So, but Ryan and I, we've talked trades before, but
Yep.
haven't yet pulled the trigger. So
Oh,
I'm sure
it'll happen.
At some point it'll happen,
I
for
have
sure.
no doubt.
You
I
get close, but
I thought this second matchup was also pretty good too. We got the Port Elgin Wolfpack at 12-8-4 going up against Courtney Islanders at 13-8-2. And it's pretty important game for both teams to just stay up in the playoff spots that they've now established, I think.
How's your team? You got no problems with COVID or nothing? All your
Oh, I
boys are
got
back?
problems. I got about 5 injuries going into this week.
5.
Yeah.
What about Bo? Have you checked his team? I didn't
No.
look.
No, it changes day to day.
It sucks. Yeah.
You know, so like, why look? I don't look ahead. It's just
Yeah.
like, whatever. The only thing I'm looking ahead of is which one of my players has the best chance of getting out of COVID first.
Hmm.
So that, okay, I might get a game out of him this week at the end of the
Yeah.
week. Let me check the schedule. Oh, good. He's backloaded this week. Okay, there might be a chance you're in the lineup.
That Tampa game canceling tonight hurt us all. Like Bernays got Point, you got
Well,
Khrushchev, and I got Vasilevsky.
Yeah, and I
And
talked about,
Hedman. And he's got
and-
Hedman too.
and once again, I talked about the Islanders, like how they just can't get a chance to play. Well, guess who they played their first game back against on Thursday?
Tampa?
New Jersey.
Oh,
Who's
Jersey.
the one who?
Oh, so Jersey
canceled-
was the
yeah,
reason
Jersey
it was
was the one
canceled?
with the COVID. Yeah, they got the
That's
7
good for
guys.
us.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So yeah, so
Well, Terry, you got Backstrom back in the lineup tonight, so that's,
yes, I saw that, and I got Panarin as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean
Okay,
that's nice.
So he was one of my guesstimations who would be back from COVID. And
well, hopefully
and-
next week
that one
McDavid
paid
will be a
off.
guesstimation for you.
well,
Yeah.
you know what? I got really lucky, to be honest with you, that he got COVID because the Edmonton Oilers have one game this week, and it just got canceled. So he wasn't going to play anyway. So great time to get COVID, Connor.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. I got a whole shitload of games from you coming. Sounds good to me. So and for games 3 and 4, one team is involved in both games. Who do you think that might be?
I don't know. It's not. Is it Renee? Because he had the
No.
2 big games last week. I doubt he got 2
Yeah,
more big
no.
games.
Brewers.
It is the Brewers. The Brewers at 17-7 going up against the Colwood Rangers 6-8-0. There's a big
good
game
battle.
for you. You got second from the Bossy going against third in the Langway.
Yeah. Playoff game right now if everything was stopped as it is. But
Yes, indeed. And
who's the
so
other one?
the Crew had a tough time. The Mustangs and the Rangers were wrapped together last week with the schedule, and once again. Their
Oh.
Mustangs are getting the Brewers as well. So the Rangers and the Mustangs are just getting pounded by some tough competition from the Bossy division. If the Brewers play like they did last week, both these teams could be trouble. However, I see Dean's off to a good start this week.
Renee, did you got the games up? Did Donald put in Peterson for LA? Because he's sporting a shutout right now.
I know. I get Panarin back and they're getting shut out.
No.
Yay.
Yeah, you didn't put him in?
No, he's got Hart and Jerry.
Oh,
Peterson got a shutout on Saturday, right? I would have maybe that's tough, but maybe he didn't have time to change him over. Play the hot hand.
yeah.
Sucks when the guy on the bench has a shutout. It's happened a lot.
Oh, I know. It's brutal.
How many shutouts you got on the bench there, Ryan? If you don't have any shutouts in the league
I
yet,
think I got a couple. I got Gibson got one.
You had some from Vladar, didn't you? I thought you had one from Vladar for sure. You had Vladar, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, he
Yeah, he got
me
your
a-
shutout.
You got me a shut on the bench. That's nice.
Yeah.
A couple, Renee. It's always fun.
And Vladar got a shout out on for another person who just picked him up. I
Mm.
thought, no, he didn't. I'm wrong there. So basically, that's our weekend conclusion. Is it's. I guess if anything, we can say the COVID. As long as you don't let it stress you out and just go with it, it kind of can make some exciting weird things happening out there. So it's just you have no idea what's going to happen. You just hang on and hope for the best.
I agree. It's nice to watch hockey anyway. Like
Yeah.
it's nice having games on. So at least they're not totally canceled.
Yeah.
so gentlemen, since I have you here, I don't get to talk to you that often in such a prestigious forum. I have 2 questions, one for
Yes.
each of you. Not to we've been on for quite a while, but just a couple of questions we can talk about me briefly if you're able to. If you want to.
We have 3 minutes
them?
and 1 second left.
Okay, question 1, Terry.
Yes.
Divisions. We talked about divisions before and all that.
Yes.
So potential reorganizing. So how are the divisions organized right now? And
Well, I was
what are your
actually
plans for the future?
the plans for the future was going to be more of a kind of a BC versus the rest kind of deal thing going on, but I may be moving out of BC shortly. So
I definitely am.
yeah, you're going down. No, you're not going to the States, but you're going to North Bay.
Ontario.
Yeah. So I was gonna do I think that may leave us. Are we still one high on the military versus civilians? I have that idea in mind as well. So I thought if we ever get to 8-8, hold on a second, Al might have been that 8th now that I think about it. I'll have to take a look who's in the military and who's not right now. But I mean, I would consider a veteran as a civvy now. So I'd put them in the civvy division. You got any ideas for Renee?
Yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, this is some good ideas. So using geography and the military stuff too. I think that'd be really neat because you guys have that background as well. So yeah, you just got to look at the numbers and see where they go. So, but yeah, I think there's been quite a few changes over the last little while. So maybe it's time to relook at it for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in it for sure. For sure, I am.
All right, and we're down to minute 25. Ryan, in 20 seconds or less, please tell me why plus minus is a acceptable fantasy hockey category
Well,
in 2022.
I'll give you Terry's answer because he thinks it's a wild card. It's like a smoke bomb or whatever. Like, oh, you can kind of predict PIMS and all that stuff, but what plus minus?
Yeah,
It's
the one hand grenade out there.
Yeah, it's a hand grenade. For me, I never thought about the division, so I go with whatever. If it's PIMS, if it's whatever, I just went with it.
But I will say, point nicely put across, Renee.
Well, last year in the playoffs, I had minus 22 and Dean had minus 18, which was the deciding factor in that playoff game. So you might remember or not, but
yeah.
Anyway, the plus minus category, a little bit of a quandary, but anyway, it's for another day.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, so I guess we're going to wrap it up here because we're down to mere seconds before we run out of time on this. And I want to thank Renee for coming out tonight. Thanks, Renee. It's always good to talk to you. I always have a lot of fun. Yep, you bet.
No worries, guys.
And of course, you, RK, always good time getting together with you. And we'll always be together with Zoom, even when you're in North Bay. So you guys, I want to thank you both for being on the broadcast tonight. Thanks so much for being here. And for all the rest of you watching this, you guys take care and peace out.